Hit him with that slate.
Okay, ready?
Oh wait, go up a little bit more. There you go.
Oh god.
I'll get close.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Take 2.
You want, go after it.
And I like connecting with people. You know, I love actually when I get an email or a direct message that I actually see, and it's just a positive message. Like I get some of the nicest messages from fans, or I hate using the word fans, but like followers, fans, whatever. And you know, they'll be like, hey, like, you know, you really helped me cure my anxiety by helping me like start making healthier decisions, like, you know, working out more, eating right, and then also mentally, like I'm a very positive person. Like that's just kind of the I've that's who I am now. Like and that's who I've been for the last, you know, few years, is just a very positive person. But since I fell in love with modeling and I fell in love with my day to day, the positivity only grew. And so now I'm literally like, I help people just from giving off positive vibes and giving them positive things to think about, because what you think about is what you become.
Yes.
You know,
100%.
Your thoughts become exactly what transpires in your life.
Yes.
You know, so if you think positive thoughts, if you're in a positive headspace, that is exactly what you're going to get out of it.
And guys and girls listening, if you are not following Eric on IG, you absolutely should be. ET Fitness Coach, at ET Fitness Coach. Link will be in the description, in the bio, in the whatever, where you are listening to this. But yeah, I love your IG specifically because you're always posting those good vibes. You always have a quote or an image or something. Man, when you were posting like the sunsets, oh my gosh.
Pretty, yeah.
That was great because from my house, I can't see, you know, the beach sunsets that you have. I'm a little bit more inland than you are, but that was just great.
It's beautiful.
And even like all during 2020, that whole dumpster fire of a year that we all had, you were still growing your business and growing your following and putting out constant positive vibes just left and right. And I absolutely love that.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. And you know, to go along with that, you know, like you said, I'm growing my business, I'm growing my following. To be honest, I started just growing my life. And like growing my happiness and growing my love for what I do, and all the other stuff like came from that.
Okay.
You know, like I actually now, another thing, I do like 25 things, but now I actually coach newer models on how to kind of go through this process. Okay. It's more on like a one-on-one case by case basis, but I do video calls with some new models and helping them with how to run their business and how to do all this. And
that's awesome.
And one of my biggest pieces of advice is you have to learn very early on, if you love this, you'll make it. But if you do not love this, like, and you're just in it for the money, you're in it for the wrong reasons, because it's very rare that someone makes it in modeling or acting or whatever just because of the money. Yeah. You know?
On the flip side of that, I would actually say, if you love this, go after it.
Go after it. Yeah. Absolutely. Especially like you have a time clock. We all have a time, especially for modeling. Modeling, you have a shelf. You know, there's a shelf life that eventually will expire. And if you're, you know, I'm 26 years old, and, you know, if I wish I could have done this when I was 23. Yeah. But again, it took everything, me going through all my experiences to get me to where I am now. So I don't regret anything. But anyone who's listening right now that's at home, or wherever you are that you're listening to this, and you have that dream where you're sitting, like if you're sitting at home and you're thinking, okay, I do love modeling, or I love acting, or I love painting, or whatever. There's no better time to do it than right now, because you have an initiative to go for it. And again, you have to believe in yourself more than anyone else will ever believe in you. Yeah. So as long as you have that, and you have the most confidence in yourself when you walk into any room that you go into, sky's the limit.
I will say, there was a time that I wanted to get into modeling, and my window was about 3 days.
3 days.
And then after that, I was like, all right, we're just gonna go back to the other side of the camera.
Yeah.
So
You're like, I like being behind the camera.
that we'll stay there. But
Yeah. Well, that's it works out.
It does. It absolutely does.
Yeah. I'm not good on the other side of the camera.
Really, not at all. Have you picked up a camera before?
Well, it's funny. So I just shot a music video for it was about a month and a half ago for Juliana. She's a new artist. Shout out to Juliana if you're listening. And we shot Love Preview. And anyways, for part of it, I had to film her like literally like, on top of me, and I was like filming, holding the camera. And I was like, I better get camera credit for this. So I was like, somewhere in the reels of this, I better get camera credit because like I use a camera from being an influencer, but no.
IMDb, look out.
Actually, we are on IMDb.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I didn't get camera credit though. It's okay.
Man.
I'm not
Next time.
I'm not butthurt about it. It's okay.
All right. So through all of this, you've booked magazine covers. You've booked book covers. You've been all over like posters, IGs. How do you diversify that? How do you go after each one? Because booking a magazine cover is different than booking a book cover.
Yeah.
So how have you, on your own, managed to do all this?
So the magazine covers is definitely coming from the photographers. That's I have to thank every photographer that I work with that has helped accelerate my career because. I was actually counting the other day. I've shot with so it was October 2019 that I moved down to Long Beach. Okay. And since then I've shot with like over 55 different photographers.
Wow.
Yeah, 55. It's crazy. And a lot of those are multiple times, like continual basis. Some of them I've shot with over 10 times.
Yeah.
And so it's like because of that, they help get me published in magazines or online spreads or whatever. But then the book covers, I have a few photographers that I've signed book covers deals with. So that's Chris Correa, Ben Veronis, Armando Adahar, and Scott Hoover. Okay. I've gotten book covers through all of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's it's a crazy world, man. There's a billion ways to make money in this industry, but it's like if you don't think of yourself like a business and how to run it, you could take a photo with someone not signing a proper deal, and they could sell that to someone, and then they make the money on it, and
they make billions off of it.
Yeah, or whatever, And it's like if you don't know how to protect yourself, then you're not gonna, unfortunately, it's not gonna work. But yeah, so those things have all come from my collaborations and running myself like a businessman.
Okay. And so on that note, you've actually developed multiple streams. Everything doesn't just come from one stream of you just going from booking to booking. No.
Doing my taxes at the end of the year is a pain in the ass. Even last year it was a pain in the butt. But for 2020, I just started going through. And yeah, I have about 20 different ways that I make money right now.
Wow.
When you put it all together from book covers to actual bookings through photographers, or from talking to someone on a video chat, or from online coaching, or sponsorship deals, or influencer activity. Like it's pretty wild how many ways. But again, you have to have that. I have that entrepreneurial spirit, So I think that if I didn't have that, it wouldn't work. But yeah.
And would you advise anyone coming in to kind of approach it that way, of trying to do more than one thing? Or maybe hone in on one thing and then branch out and do a second thing?
No, that's an awesome point. So I would say be open-minded. Like, let your journey shape itself. Okay. Everyone always asks me, like, oh, like, what's your goal with all this? Like, are you, they would, especially early on, they're like, oh, are you trying to be like, a big-time like model for Calvin Klein or whatever? And I'm like, I'm literally just enjoying the day-to-day because my day changes. Like
day to day.
Yeah. Literally, like I just booked flights the other day to go to Florida to do it because I have to do a shoot there. And again, like my day, I never know where I'm going to be in a week, let alone like a month. And people are like, oh, like, are you like worried about having this many followers or this much money or being at this level? And I'm like, no, just like enjoy the ride. And that's what everyone talks about that makes it, quote unquote makes it, is they're like, make sure you enjoy the ride, because once you get to the top, you're going to be like, oh, like I blacked out. But like really taking in that time to really enjoy the process. And I don't know where my top is. I don't know when it will stop. I hope it never does. Yeah, right? Yeah. I hope it never does, because I really do love my life. And I'm proud to be able to say that.
So 20 different streams that you're just having fun, enjoying the ride, but treating it as a business at the same time. I'm curious from a personal finance standpoint, and don't give me any numbers, but what are you doing with this? Is with all this money? So because you have a finance background.
Yeah.
So are you investing? Are you just piling up cash? Is there a house or a condo in the future?
So it's funny. I
Gonna buy that jet? Or?
Right. Yeah. No. So since I have a finance background, the thing that got me out of finance is I learned that I don't love money.
Yeah.
To be in finance, to make it in finance, to make it in wealth management, to do investing, all that, for that to be your go-to, you have to love money to be in that industry. And I found out that I don't love money enough to be in that industry. So that's what got me out of it. Now I still do invest. I'm not doing like active day trading or anything like that. I'll pretty much invest, check it every week.
Right.
I would say loosely, actively managing it. So on that end, that's where I'm investing it. But I also do a lot of reinvestment. So I work with an acting coach every week to help me with acting. I do so much self-care stuff. I get facials. I take yoga classes. I do things for myself because your mental health and just everything is so important. So that's where I see my barber every 2 weeks, and just if anything, just because not because I think I need a haircut every 2 weeks, just because I just want to take care of myself. So I do a lot of self-care reinvestment, and I do a lot of future planning reinvestment of acting and all that stuff.
Well, that's kind of like a dual purpose, right? Because taking care of yourself makes you feel good.
Yeah.
But you are also your product, your own product. Because, if you don't look good or if you get a belly, it's Budweiser might want you on the commercial.
Right?
But.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna get any Bud commercials, but I'll look in the camera and say this: love yourself. And it's the best thing you can do is love yourself, because if you love who you are, so many people get caught up in whatever they do and just life, that they actually don't take care of themselves, or they don't actually find what makes them happy or whatever. But if you actually love yourself and you kind of let that come out of you, and then people that are around you feel that, and it's you actually can inspire people without even trying, just from being a positive person and taking care of yourself. So yeah, it all comes back in more ways than one.
There's a well-known celebrity, I'm not going to plug him here, but they have a saying, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love anybody else?
Exactly.
Can I get an amen in here?
Can I get an amen?
Yeah.
Yes. No, yeah, double. It's so true. And, once you love yourself, then you can give love to someone else.
So true.
Yeah.
So true. Well, you did something last year that I don't think anyone in your position would have saw coming. And what I mean by anyone in your position is that you're so new to the modeling game. And you were so new on the scene. And it was 2020 when everybody was just nothing good is going to happen. You put out a calendar. And you didn't put out a calendar. You put out 2 versions of that calendar for 2021. How?
Yeah. So shout out to Ben Veronis. Ben has been one of my biggest supporters and photographers and everything. And him and I came up with a project concept for a calendar, and we shot it in Joshua Tree, and we went through how it was all gonna go. I did some signed a signed version. I did an order digital print version.
Yep.
And we came up with the concept, and it was a really good experience. First calendar in my first year.
Yeah.
And that was big. But if anything, it just helped us learn the environment, and that's what 2020 was about.
Yeah.
2020 was about learning the environment and adapting to it.
Yep.
A lot of people who had a horrible year. Again, I hate blanket stating anything. But a lot of people who had a horrible year, they looked at 2020 and they're like, I'm not going to do anything this year because this is just how it is. And it's you have to look at it and find ways to fine tune that. Find ways to get around it. So I looked at 2020 and I was like, all right, well, obviously I'm not going to be able to go to. I had shoots that I was supposed to do in Peru. I had a shoot I was going to do in Malaysia and Singapore.
Got canceled.
Yeah, and all that stuff got canceled, and I didn't let that get me down.
No.
And I just moved on to the next thing.
Yep.
And being able to adapt to your environment and figuring out ways to to make money or whatever in your environment is what life is all about. You know, life is never going to be perfect. There's never going to be a COVID-19 all the time, you know, but there's going to be something that's holding you back or that's a speed bump or a
It may not be
stranglehold.
global. It may be in your personal life.
Yeah, it might, you know, you might just have a rough situation at home or someone's sick, you know, and someone's not healthy, you know, so it's, just adapt.
How did it sell? The calendar. How did it sell? 'Cause I saw you promoted it on your IG,
Yeah.
but how were the actual returns from it?
Yeah, the calendar sales were pretty good. It was a little lower than we expected. But also like the experience was what really I pulled from it, you know?
Yeah.
You know, we didn't really have like a big number of what we were trying to hit.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I can tell you that we really learned how the process goes in 2021. It's game's on.
Do you think you'll be doing another one?
Absolutely.
2022 calendar?
Well, I mean, and what's ironic is I was supposed to do Mike Ruiz's Pitties and Pitts calendar, but just because of COVID, I hate using COVID as an excuse, but because of COVID, it just didn't work out for me being able to get there and do everything. Right. So I do hope to do that one as well this year, and that's for a really good cause of saving pit bulls. And you know, I am an animal lover, and so that's it goes for what I stand and believe in. But yeah, I'll probably do a personal one as well, and let's see. I can't forecast anything beyond like February.
I don't think I've even told you that I have a pit. Have I ever?
You have a pit?
Yeah.
Did you bring him along?
Her name's Karma.
Oh, Karma.
I actually dropped her off at the daycare before I came over here, just because otherwise she'd be home by herself. And
yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I've ever mentioned that. Yeah.
Well, you should bring Karma here sometime.
Absolutely.
Next time we do this.
You would love Karma.
Bring Karma. We'll
She's
chill.
a sweetheart.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've had this amazing career, and especially your modeling career taking off after only about a year and a half, just under 2 years.
Yeah.
I know mindset is definitely part of it. Actually, let me say it this way. I know the business aspect of it, of doing the grind, of making the connections, replying to DMs, of positioning yourself and putting yourself out there. But the mindset aspect of it, I know we've touched on it this entire interview, but I just want to go a little bit deeper just on that for a second, because that whole go after it mindset of, hey, this is what I want to do, of walking in your purpose and knowing that, you know, there's a saying that I've heard a lot, and it's, if you can walk away from something, you should. Because if you can't walk away from it, that means you should be doing it.
Exactly.
And it sounds so much like this is something that you couldn't walk away from.
No. Yeah.
At least not right now. Not at the present.
No, you're absolutely right. Again, that's where you learn if you truly love something, then that's what you should be doing. And that's why again, some people never learn what they love, and you know, and I don't want to say if I feel bad for them, but I wish that people gave themselves the opportunity to learn what you love.
Yes.
Because a lot of people's jobs, if you work a 8 to 5 job Monday through Friday, you really don't have a lot of time to learn what you love. You can't travel, you can't go get on a plane and I'm going to go to Mexico for 7 days. Like, you can't just do that at the drop of a hat. And maybe you get somewhere and you learn that you love poetry, or you love modeling or whatever. And again, I knew that I liked taking photos before I got into modeling, but it wasn't until I fully dove headfirst. I just had my foot in the water, and then once I dove headfirst into it, I was like, wow,
Just all in.
Yeah, and so now I know I can't walk away from this because it would kill me. And so I think once it gets to that point, that's when you should be doing something. And in the day-to-day life, of course, I work my ass off, but it doesn't feel like I'm working because I'm just doing something I enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has modeling in your underwear affected your dating relationship?
Good question. Yes. I'll say yes.
In a good way, or I could imagine your DMs are just full of thirsty people.
Yeah. You don't want to read those. No. So I was in a 13-month relationship with an amazing woman, and she's still very, very much a big part of my life. But I didn't want to bring her into everything.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to keep because what happens in my private life, what I don't share with everyone is that's really where a lot of your most important moments happen.
Yes, I
And
definitely agree with that.
And I can say from like an influencer standpoint, from a person who's in the spotlight to whatever degree you want to call it, you know, what you do in your private life really shapes how your entire public life goes. And so I was extremely happy with her and everything like that. You know, modeling in my underwear, of course, I'm not going to be an OnlyFans model, and you know, I've never shot nude. I don't do that's not my style. But I can imagine that if you were an OnlyFans model and, you know, you're trying to date someone while like just posting pictures of your junk or whatever you're doing on OnlyFans, that would be a lot. You know, that would definitely put a stranglehold on it. But for the most part, my body is art and I use it as such, and anyone who's in my life usually respects that.
What about family and friends? Have you got any backlash from there, or are they super supportive?
No, my family is the most supportive people ever. They, you know, my mom is probably my number one fan outside of like my actual fans. You know, my dad's supportive, my brother's supportive, family or friends. I'm blessed with 2 best friends, and both of them support the hell out of me, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's again, my life is so positive, and I don't know if I'm just lucky or what, but I really don't have a lot of negative energy in my life.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's good. Not including the people who hate on your calves.
Yes. The calf hate. What's funny is I joke about my calves more than anyone. Yeah. You know, so I'm like, okay, like that's if you can joke about yourself, you can take anything. You know, so just own it. I know I have small calves. Keep coming at me.
Awesome. All right, Eric. I just have a couple more questions for you before we wrap up today.
Perfect.
What's one thing that you wish people knew about you, the people who follow you, who only see the abs, the wriggly jawline, the clothes?
Wish they knew. I mean, I share a lot about what I am and who I am, but I guess I would say I wish people knew how poetic I was. You know, I really put time and effort into what I write and the messages that I give out and all that stuff, and I'm a huge fan of poetry, and that's what I write in my captions, because that's another way that I can express myself. You know, I express myself through my body and modeling and all the creative stuff I do, but actually being able to express myself indirectly through voice or text, I guess I should say, is a blessing. So there's a lot more that's deeper than what you just see. You know, the hard exterior surface has many layers.
Do you think you'll ever put out a book of poetry? Do you think that'll be coming one day?
2021. No, I'm just kidding. Potentially, we'll see.
In stores now.
Yeah,
Amazon near you.
Right? No, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Okay. Very cool. Well, what's next? I know we've talked about it being day by day, just going with the flow, riding the wave.
Yes.
But do you have an actual, I don't want to say plan, but like a guidepost that you're aiming for?
I have, let's see, I'm going to count. 1, 2, 3. I have 5 major projects I'm working on right now.
Okay.
All of which I cannot talk about.
Okay.
Sorry.
What's the 6th one?
Yeah, right. And those 5 things are shaping up to be coming in the next month, 2 months, 3 months.
Without giving any info, are they related? Are they 5 individual projects?
Some of them are related. I should say that all of them do involve me. They all involve most of them involve a screen.
Okay.
And yep. That's
Are you going to be an extra on The Mandalorian season 3?
Right. Yeah,
is that it?
That's exactly what I was going to tell you.
See you in the background.
Me and George Lucas were talking the other day, and
yeah.
There's a lot coming for me, so I can just say if you are following me, then get ready to enjoy the ride even more than it's already been.
And we'll see this all on IG and TikTok.
I share my life. Yes.
Do you plan on putting out any more YouTube videos?
That's a great question. I literally haven't really done much YouTube-wise in a long time, actually.
Yeah, it's mostly the fitness stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of fit. There's plenty of free workouts on there if people want to go do
Yeah.
some workouts. But I have YouTube. I probably won't do much on there, but again, that could change. I might get booked for something, and then I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
like this would be a cool way to make money, you know?
Well, you might have one thing.
Two things,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, thanks. Thanks for coming on.
Of course.
I've enjoyed this conversation, and I've enjoyed getting to know you over the past year or so. I've enjoyed watching your progress, your growth. It's definitely inspiring, and like you say, you put out those positive vibes. So it's something that's just great to have. It's refreshing to have on an Instagram feed where it's not just abs and smiles. It's actually a little bit of encouragement and motivation
Of course.
for anybody on any step of their journey, whether that's a fitness journey, an entrepreneurial journey, or just the journey to happiness.
Journey to happiness. Journey to bliss.
Yeah.
Bliss is perfect happiness, and if I can wish anything for anyone who's listening or watching, perfect happiness, bliss is what to go for.
Do you want to plug all your socials?
Yeah, so as of right now, they are all at ET Fitness Coach. So that's Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, I guess YouTube. And yeah, you can find me on there and say what's up, say you heard us on here or saw us on here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I appreciate you having me on. We'll have to do this again.
Absolutely.
Because again, a lot of things are evolving and life is exciting.
Good. I'm glad. Wish you all the best. And that's it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching. This has been awesome. Until next time. Oh, by the way, Eric's super secret OnlyFans link will be in the comments, so make sure to check it out.
Yes, and you can send all the checks to Johnny because we don't accept online payment.
No online payment. That's it. Thank you so much, Eric.
Thanks, brother.
All right. Until next time, this is Johnny. Go out there, create a great day.